we're talking about setting the bar too high, and I would agree it would be unfair to expect it, but we saw in year one with the Commanders, with the right coach and the
How about the
quarterback
Commanders?
hitting. I know you hate it when I talk about the Commanders, but it's a great example of how
Mickey Mouse
unexpected
run.
things end up happening. To me, it wasn't a Mickey Mouse. They beat the Buccaneers. The Lions were destroyed with injuries. And they had a pretty poor roster too, but they were the better coach team versus like Ben Johnson, Dan Campbell, and Aaron Glenn. They were more prepared for that game.
We're
Like
missing
that,
11
that can
stars
happen
on
with Vrabel, I think.
I also kind of look at the Commanders just like I look at the Texans when CJ Stroud year one.
Right.
It's like you don't have like film on these players. You know what I mean? Like Jayden Daniels going crazy, going like doing what he's doing. For example, like Daniel Jones, Indianapolis Colts. You don't have film on what he is in the Shane Steichen offense. Hence why he's blowing up. You know what I mean? What does he look like next year after getting comfortable doing what he's got to do? You know what I mean? And it's like Anthony Richardson now. If he gets traded and he blows up, do we look at him and be like, oh my God, that is definitely like a top 10 quarterback? It's like, no, it's like we need the consistency. We need the time to play out. Like Bart is cooking this year, you know what I mean? And I'm gonna give him the respect if he does good and he gets receivers and he gets to go what he's doing. But now my question is like year two. We're not talking about CJ Stroud right now as like an all-time solid quarterback because of the fact that like I'm not gonna say like D'Amico Ryan's like offense is just ass all of a sudden. I just think it's like now it's figured out. Can they adjust? And like the Texans themselves can adjust. Dan Quinn, for example, he's struggling. I'll give Daniels his flowers. He's hurt a little bit. He's not 100%.
Lauren.
He doesn't have Terry McLaurin, you know what I mean? But at the same time, it's like, does Hurts get benefit of the doubt when he when he doesn't have AJ Brown? No, he gets shadowed more.
Stroud in Daniel's shoes.
He gets
Dak doesn't have
shadowed more.
CD
You
right
know what I'm saying? Dak doesn't have CD right now. He's able to do what he's doing right now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like it's one of those things where it's like it's hard for me to give flowers when I don't see consistency throughout the years. You know what I mean? Like one thing I can say, like at least with Dak and Hurts, is like even though if they have like rough times or rough patches or whatever, they're able to still like come back later in the season and like do like what needs to be done to get them to where they need to be. Sometimes they don't succeed, but that's why they still get hated on. But
Okay. I think you guys are making fair points about the Commanders. Clearly, my slight bias towards Jayden Daniels is showing a little bit, but I do think I think there's a real comparison between what I'm saying, what happened last year with the Commanders, and what could happen with the Patriots.
I can agree to that. Yeah.
Of my point is, it was so unexpected. Nobody saw that coming. I get it's the AFC, but I think only one team really looks like they have their, you know.
You're really glazing a team that gave up 55 points in the NFC Championship game.
Yo,
I think that alone.
So did the Chiefs and
That
Steve
tells me-
Spagnuolo.
That
They
just
scored
tells
more-
me how much. That just tells me how much they didn't belong to be there. They had a Mickey Mouse run getting there. They would never have that type of luck getting there. They probably will never be back there. That's my honest opinion about it.
Oh, wait, you think that Lions game was a fluke?
Dude,
They
the
were,
Lions
they
were
were hurt
missing.
beyond. They were hurt beyond means.
They
I
were
can't.
missing 11 defensive starters. That's their whole defense.
Yeah.
They were playing with their B team.
They were
So you
destroyed.
think,
But they're-
Commanders play. So like, of course, Eagles definitely would be the Lions in that situation. But I'm saying Commanders versus the Rams. When we played them, do you think same outcome? Commanders come out of that.
I think the Rams easily beat the Commanders.
I think the
in that
Rams are better.
situation.
But don't forget, it wasn't just the Commanders' offense that won that game. The Commanders' defense played very, very well, and it's part of that Dan Quinn coaching.
Well,
It's those
yeah.
turnovers
Play with
that
the
turned
lead.
that game
Play
in
with
their
the lead.
favor. It was a shootout either way until those turnovers occurred. So it's as a team, like I think I don't think they're the same as the Texans because the Texans weren't, they were not competing in those playoff games. They scraped into the playoffs. They almost lost that playoff spot to the Gardner Minshew-led Indianapolis Colts because of a drop Naheem Hines pass. That's a little bit different from Jayden Daniels, like clearly being, a huge difference maker and winning games that they shouldn't. Whatever. We're off topic. We're officially off the rails. We'll have a Commander segment at
Your
some
balls
point.
deep on Jay Daniels.
All right. You relax there.
That's
All right.
crazy.
This next segment is going to be a good one.